Hello and welcome to another edition of Meldon Law and Friends, a weekly podcast brought to you by Meldon Law, a law firm based in Gainesville, Florida, with offices in South Florida, covering the entire Tri-County area, South Florida, from Miami-Dade through Broward to Palm Beach County, and also in Marion County, where we've been for 43 years, and a brand new office that we just opened up a couple of weeks ago with a gala grand opening at 1326 South Pine Avenue, across the street from that huge Advent hospital. You can't miss us because this guy and his father, Jeffrey Meldon, are on that beautiful electronic sign. And anyhow, Kerry Meldon, my good friend and colleague, glad to have you on the show.
Happy 4th, Chris. Happy to be here. It should be a great show today. I've got old friends of mine and also influential people in Alachua County and Marion County, so we're going to be representing North Central Florida.
We do. Bill Bechtol, welcome to the show. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you very much. I don't know about how influential I am, but I appreciate Kerry having me on. So.
And we're going to go ahead and tease or promo the second half of the show. We're going to have Kristi Gaver. I hope I said that right.
That's correct.
Okay. She is from UF Health, Shands Hospital. She is the Director of Public Functions. She'll be on the second half of the show, so we got a lot of great content for today. This is episode 37. Hard to believe. We started this, your father and all of us, you and me, back in November, and we haven't missed a week.
To your credit, Chris, you haven't missed a week.
That's right.
Me and Jeffrey sometimes will trade places, but Chris Qualman, who works at Meldon Law here in the Gainesville office, has been our stalwart. He's also the host, and you've done an amazing job.
Well,
so
thank you.
Congratulations, Chris. We're happy to have you here.
I put on a colored blue shirt, for the occasion. What do they tell us in law school? The sincere blues, and you've got that. So, hey, we're always telling the truth.
Coordinated it well.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk a little bit, though, because I think we need to, about the storm, Tropical Storm Elsa. I know it's on everybody's minds, and if you're watching live on Facebook Live, we're going to give you at least what we know to be the most up-to-date information. And by the way, also, if you are watching us on Facebook Live, ask us questions, okay? Just get to your keyboard, type it in the comment section, whether for our guest, Bill, Kristi here in the second half, for Kerry, hey, we'll do the best we can. We'll lumber through your questions, whatever they may be. But Kerry, we saw this morning that in Gainesville, in Alachua County, that there will be free sandbags available to people. So you might be thinking to yourself, well, it's a tropical storm. Hey, it's still very serious.
Yes, apparently the storm may be strengthening. It should be hitting Gainesville this afternoon.
Or tonight, actually.
And through the night. Yeah. And so for those people out there who may be in an area which is prone to flooding, especially with all the rain that we've been receiving in the last few weeks, it might be a good idea to get these sandbags. And Chris, where would you pick up these sandbags?
So, according to a press release put out by Alachua County just about an hour and a half ago, there will be sandbags available today for free, a limit of 10 per family at Wayside Park. Wayside Park is located at 11855 Northwest US 441 in Gainesville. Again, Wayside Park. Look it up and Google it if you want more directions. They started giving them away at 8 a.m. this morning. It only goes till 5, so you just got a couple hours left. We urge you, like Kerry said, there are areas of Gainesville that are prone to flooding, and really all of Alachua County for that matter. So it's to your best interest to take advantage of this. And I thought something else interesting, Kerry. I heard actually on my way to the studio this afternoon, Governor DeSantis said it is expected to increase right up to hurricane strength. Right now it's around 60, 65. It's expected by the time it hits landfall several hours away to be right at first-degree hurricane.
Could be a Category 1.
Yeah, Category 1. So it'll be right at 75. And the other part that people need to be aware of is that I'll say to the right side of the hurricane, the left side, the way it's shaped, they don't expect much rain. But guess what? We're on the right side, and as it cuts through the north central part of the state. So whether you're watching this in Sumter County, Marion County, certainly Alachua County, Duval County, anything to the right of the projected path of the storm, we urge you to take appropriate precautions.
Very good. Well, Chris, hopefully everybody will get through safely, and we, as Floridians, we're well aware of what happens during these type of situations.
Bottled water and battery shortages, right?
Absolutely. although it's an early tropical storm / hurricane this year. I think this is one of the earliest on records. Usually August is when hurricane season ramps up. So.
Again, want to remind you, we are live on Facebook Live, so if you got a question for anybody, anything, just throw it out there. But Carrie, I'm going to let you introduce formally your longtime friend, and let's get going with Bill.
Well, formally, my friend, no, Bill and I have been friends since high school. Actually, Bill Bechtol and I have known each other since we were teenagers, and we've gone through a lot of cool times together. Yeah, well, Bill attended JHS, and he was one class below me, and then he ended up going to University of Florida, graduated from UF. I went to school in Virginia, and then we met back up in Tampa when I went to law school, and he was working in finance over in Tampa after he graduated. And Bill is, all of our friends always said if there's ever going to be a mayor of Gainesville, it's going to be Bill Bechtol. So,
hey, I'd vote for you.
I don't know if I need to be in the public spotlight that much.
Today's is a coming out party. But,
all right, Bill.
But Bill, welcome to the show. We're happy to have you, man. It should be a great show today. Why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about your background, how how your family got to Gainesville?
Sure, absolutely. As Carrie said, I've been in Gainesville for a long time. I actually moved here when I was 9 months old from Fort Lauderdale. My dad was an air traffic controller down in South Florida, and my sister was born down there, and then I was born, and shortly thereafter, he just wanted to move to a smaller town. It was getting a little too big, the traffic for him, so I had the FAA transfer him up to the little old Gainesville airport at that time in 1979. So from then on, it's been Gainesville, and happy to go. Great school system here I grew up in. Made lifelong friends through middle school and high school, and then continued. There's when you have that kind of love and it's embedded in you, and you spend every Saturdays at Florida football games and growing up, then there was no place other for me to go than continuing my education at the University of Florida.
Yeah, and Bill is a huge Gator fan. In fact, we talk about Gators and Gator recruiting and football on a weekly basis.
We go pretty deep.
And so we have a good time. We have a good time talking about Gator sports. But Bill actually ended up in Tampa for a little while after you graduated from UF.
I did.
How did you get down to Tampa?
After I graduated, I thought I'd maybe leave Gainesville and spread my wings a little bit. So went a couple hours south of Tampa and had a great time there. Started with Chase Manhattan Bank doing mortgage funding right out of college, and worked there for a while, and then various other positions in the finance sector in Tampa. But as you know, they call Gainesville the boomerang city because it brings everybody back.
Exhibit A here. I came back too.
So after about 10 years in Tampa, we were about to have my son, and decided to move back to Gainesville right when he was born, so he could experience kind of the same quality of life that I had growing up.
We had a question a moment ago. I'm assuming this is an inside question because I don't know this name, but do you know if Jim Cantori is on his way to Florida?
I do not know personally. I might let Carrie handle that one.
Well, if Jim is on his way, then rest assured it's going to be the worst hurricane that Gainesville's ever faced, or it's going to look that way on the screen.
He likes the coastal towns a little bit more.
I would be shocked.
We'll see. Maybe a picture by the Devil's Mill Hopper or something.
Keep those questions coming. We love them.
Or Lake
Insider
Alice,
or
right?
Not, we don't care. Ask questions.
And so currently you're working with Capital City Bank, which is a Tallahassee institution, but you're here in Gainesville.
It is correct. So Capital City Bank is it's a perfect size bank because it's small enough to be a community bank and involved in the community, but also large enough to where we can compete with the bigger boys too. And so I actually spent when I first moved back to Gainesville, I spent 5 years with Bank of America and learned a lot there. But it just Capital City seemed to align more with what I look for in giving back to the community and stuff. Although Capital City is founded in Tallahassee. Actually, they were founded in 1895, so we just celebrated our 125th year. as a bank, which in this times with banks being bought and sold left and right is a rarity.
That is.
Yeah,
that's quite impressive.
That is really impressive. And so you've been in with Capital City for a few years now.
Coming up on 5 years in December. Like I said, they truly invest in the communities they're in, empower their employees to go out and find what's important to them as far as community service. It's a relationship bank, and relationships aren't just made when somebody comes and sits at your desk and asks for a loan or opens a checking account. Relationships are really made when you're out there in the community and doing what you love.
Well, speaking of community service, we know that you've been a huge advocate of being involved in a lot of community services throughout Gainesville, the Children's Health Network, Rotary of Gainesville. Tell us a little bit about why you are so focused on trying to give back to Gainesville. I mean, obviously it's easy to say we want to give back,
sure,
but you actually you walk the walk. I mean, everything that you do, and I've known you for a long time, is about making sure that you're socially out there, that you're available, that you're mentoring, that you're helping.
Absolutely. Again, it's a community that's near and dear to my heart because I grew up here. And like I said, I had a wonderful childhood, and so it's a part of people. Not everybody can say that, but I think growing up in Gainesville is something special. It's it's one of those towns that it's a little unique where it's still got the small town feel, but it's also got the kind of the big city opportunities. I remember middle school or when we went to the Rolling Stones concert. And, for a town of 135,000 people to have a Rolling Stones.
Tell you, his father, Jeffrey Meldon, I think he's been to more Rolling Stones concerts than anyone I know. No, seriously, he has.
I know he has.
He's seen them all over the world. And when I went with him and Patricia 2 years ago to the one up in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
It was well into the double digits. I don't know how many he's seen, but huge fan. We have a question, Facebook question. What are the top differences between a community bank and a traditional bank?
Typically, traditional bank could be like a national bank, like a Wells Fargo, a Bank of America, a bank that's not only in the U.S. but also international capabilities too. Where a community bank is more of the we know your name, we know your kids' names. You kind of take a vested interest in your clients, build that relationship because we don't see it as a transaction. We see it more as a lifelong relationship.
What about credit unions? How do they differ?
Credit unions are, again, they pop up, but they don't have to pay taxes. That's the big difference. Which is a sore subject among bankers.
I see. Okay.
I would, yes.
But anyway, there's a great question, and I just say, find what works for you. If you're going to have a business operating in multiple states and multiple countries, maybe a bigger bank is. Or if you're if you're a local subcontractor for construction or something, maybe find that relationship that's personal and works for you, and have a banker that works for your business.
Bill, let's talk a little bit about your background here. And it looks like in the last 6 years, I don't know how you've had time to raise your kids and work, because you've been a board member of the Children's Home Society of Florida since 2017. You were also a member of Rotary since 2017 and a former president in 2018, 2019. You've acted as a mentor for ACEL, which is a great organization, the Alachua County Emerging Leaders Organization. You're a member of the Building Association of North Central Florida, a member of the Chamber of Commerce, a member of the American Heart Association. In fact, you're on the leadership committee there, and you're also involved in the United Way in the loaned executive program.
You gotta run for mayor. I mean, why aren't you a candidate right now?
So I just listed your entire resume.
Well, I think you make it sound a little bit better than what it actually is. But no, it's funny you say about the time to raise my kids, but I think that's important to kind of raise your children in that and show them a level of service to the community. I mean, my kids don't have a rough life when you look at it. They spend, the weekends in the pool and, or going to the beach or anything. And let's show them why we should invest in our community. So one big thing, with the American Heart Association I've been involved with is the annual Heart Walk. And that's a fun community event, not just for...
Right. I want you to hold that thought.
Sorry? All right.
I want you to hold that thought, because one of my jobs in directing traffic is to look at our producer, our good buddy, Mr. Freddie Weavy. Hi, Freddie. And he gives me the nod when there's time for a commercial, so we got to do that, but we're going to come back to that point in just a second. This is episode 37 of Meldon Law and Friends, live today, June 6, 2021. We'll be right back.
The Gator Nation will be the first to tell you that in all kinds of weather, we all stick together, which is why Meldon Law is honored to be the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. We hope you never find yourself the victim of a serious accident, but if you do, our team is here for you. Gators won't back down from a fight, and neither do we. When you're a member of the Gator Nation, you know what it means to never back down. Meldon Law has been a proud supporter of the Gator Nation since 1971. Two forces that won't back down. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em.
Hello and welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends, Tuesday, June 6, 2021, here with Carrie Meldon, partner in Meldon Law, and my name is Chris Qualman. I work for Meldon Law, host of this program, and we're here with Bill Bechtol, longtime friend of Carrie's, long banker, community service entrepreneur extraordinaire. We were talking before the break about your community service activities.
Yeah, Carrie had brought up, children and raising them, and I just think it's very important to get children involved at an early age and show what they can do to help out. And we were talking, the American Heart Association has a annual heart walk every year. Usually done at Santa Fe Community College, and that's fun for the kids. It's not a long walk. I think it's not even a mile. I think there's a mile course and then maybe like a 2-mile course or something. Mm-hmm. But we take the kids over there and have them walk, and everybody's there showing support. Lots of community businesses that set up booths and everything. And my kids love the trinkets and the giveaways and the little squishy thing. I think Meldon, they have a room full of Meldon Law stuff. So
that's great.
We definitely have swag. His dad's the king of swag.
How do you get involved into the Heart Walk if you're not a member of the American Heart Association? Can anyone join in if they want?
Yeah, anybody can join in by walking or donating. How I got involved is, again, with Capital City Bank. They really push you to be a community advocate for service, and so you kind of pick and choose what's near and dear to your heart. My mother actually passed away from a heart attack several years ago. And so, that's why American Heart Association kind of stood out to me. But yeah, everybody can get involved during the time. I believe they also do a formal heart ball too, which is more of the fancy, the fancy dinner banquet type thing. But
right.
Anyway, it's a great community service. They've also combined the same day the Touch-A-Truck, which I'm not sure who puts that on, but it's always at Santa Fe Community College. Mm-hmm. So it's a great thing for the kids because you do the heart walk and then you go over and they can climb on fire trucks, ambulances, cranes.
Man, I would have loved that as a kid.
It's a wonderful day. So
why didn't they have that a zillion years ago when I was growing up? That would have been fun.
And so that's been something, I remember you tell me about the Touch-A-Truck, mm-hmm. and the kids loved it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And it was a really cool thing. How about your stint as president of the Rotary International?
Okay.
Advise the listeners out there what Rotary is, because we've always hear about it growing up.
See the wheel.
Yeah.
I know that means something, so tell us about
that. Rotary International, I believe it's in 180 countries right now. Mm-hmm. The thing I like about it is there's a good balance between international aid and local projects. So you see, the big Rotary mission for over the last 40 years has been eradicating polio completely, and they're down to like very little, like less than 10 cases worldwide show up. So
that is amazing.
It is almost, and there's been billions of dollars over the last 50 years raised from Rotary clubs put towards the eradication of polio. But then also we host an annual wild game feast. I think you've been with me a couple times.
I've been to the wild game feast.
Yeah, and that's always a good fun. We stuff ourselves and eat and drink too much, but the proceeds from that are kept locally. The Rotary just did the Northside Park, the one across the street from Walmart by the Highway Patrol Station. Mm-hmm. Completely redid that with money from Rotary. All new playground equipment, new racquetball courts, new tennis courts, pickleball. And there's plans, actually, for the Rotary Clubs of Gainesville are going to do a splash park over on Veterans Park off of Tower Road.
You know, if you haven't been to the game feast, you got to go. Our old principal at GHS, Dan Boyd, was extremely involved with the game feast and Rotary, and a lot of incredible people from the history of Gainesville have group up during this one time of the year at this game feast, and it's out in the middle of, is it Lee Pinkinson's property?
Lee Pinkinson's property. He actually gifted it to the Rotary International a long time ago, and so yeah, it's Hatchet Creek out 39th past the airport. But you guys should definitely check out the new park on Northside Park with new tennis courts. I don't know if you know this, but Kerry was a bit of a tennis celebrity here in Gainesville.
He was.
Oh,
He was a Meldon Law Scholar Athlete of the Year.
Yeah.
A long time ago, my friend, a long time ago.
Anchored the state championship '96 team.
He did.
If we're going to brag about high school athletics,
Yeah.
Bill was known for his pulling ability. He was an offensive guard on the Gainesville High School football team.
Wow.
And he had the quickest feet on the offensive line. And he was whenever they needed him, a guard to be pulling.
To go hit that linebacker
Right.
back,
Yeah.
or even go take out a safety. You probably were that guy.
Well, it was fun because I get to hit people that weren't looking for me coming.
Oh, wow. What fun that would be.
So that, and then I was kind of undersized for offensive lineman there. I'm not anymore.
Well, I played on an academic games team. I didn't play football or tennis, but I still had fun. But that's great. That's terrific.
Yeah.
I want to remind our viewers that we are live today from Gainesville, Florida, broadcasting everywhere, though, on the internet. If you have a question for Bill or for Kerry on anything, I mean, Bill's got an illustrious career in banking and finance and in volunteerism. Whatever your question may be, type it in the comments section of the Facebook Live feed, and we'll get to it the best we can. Also want to say hello to all those out there on 37 different audio platforms, ranging from Amazon Music to Apple Music to God knows how many others on which this is being broadcast. So whether you're listening to us or watching us live on the internet, please know how much we appreciate it. And also want to remind you that all of our episodes are archived. So if you miss it or you want to tell somebody about it, please, we urge you, share this, spread the word. That's what keeps our program on week after week, so we can keep growing with this. I mean, we've had shows with 20, 30,000 views all told. It's really pretty amazing, after it rolls for a couple of days and a couple of weeks. The old shows are archived on our YouTube page, the Meldon Law YouTube page, and also on the Meldon Law Facebook page. And I also want to remind everybody that don't go away. As great a guest as Bill is, we got another great guest coming up, Kristi Gaver, who is with UF Health, Shands Hospital. She is the Director of Public Functions. I know she'll have a lot of great things to say as well.
Bill, let me ask you a question for listeners out there that may be looking to procure a commercial loan. What's the process? Like, how does that go? How does that work?
So typically, business commercial loans, we offer different options from commercial real estate, maybe a business they've rented for a while and they're now looking to purchase their building. So we offer that, or lines of credit. We also have business equipment financing. You need a new forklift, or you need a new welding machine, or it kind of depends on the business, but we can kind of tailor that for everyone. A lot of time, a line of credit's good for a business that's getting started, because you don't know, there's some expenses that are going to show up that are
Sure.
not there. Not necessarily. Startups are a little different. They're a little hard to lend at traditional banks. Sometimes they have to pull money from otherwhere, some private financing or everything. Banks typically want to see you in business for 2 years, and
That's a great point.
and want to see 2 years of tax returns. So just make sure it's a viable business, because remember, it's a loan, not an investment, is what we say. So
right.
we do expect you to pay it back.
So you want people to be responsible with regards to their to lending. Now, with regards to contacting you personally, is it a situation where they call it Capital City, or how does it?
Absolutely. My office is located on West Newberry Road. Always come see me.
Give them the phone number.
Phone number's 352-514-4605. My phone's always on my hip, as many people can tell me. Sometimes I look at it a little too much, but anyway, I'm happy to help you out. We'd love to talk about your business. It's really about me learning about your business, and then us making an informed decision together on what's the best way and most responsible way to grow.
Great.
Let me ask you this, and we ask this a lot of our guests, because we've had other people from the fields of finance and entrepreneurialism and so forth. What would you say to a young person just getting out of college? You know, this semester or next semester, they have a finance degree, a
Sure.
bachelor's of business administration. What would you say to a young person wanting to do what you do?
I would say the most important thing is, send out the applications where you want to go, but make contacts. And for me, a lot of the community service stuff has been instrumental in my career because, like I said, you're not making those contacts where people walking in the door. You're making them when you're out in the community. So the more you can be out, the better. And whether you do that in public service, coaching kids, sports teams, just meeting people and being visible is probably the most important part of my job. Those are the contacts I make, and then just answer your phone. Don't send people to voicemail. I would say that's the other thing.
I totally agree.
Pick up your phone when someone calls you, and whether we've seen situations where somebody has a Friday afternoon call and it could be just the littlest simplest thing, but that could ruin a relationship if somebody doesn't get back to you until Monday.
Sure.
So those would be my advice is stay involved, find something you're passionate about, do it, and just make those contacts and follow up with people.
Tell us about careers generally in the banking and finance industry. I mean, there are so many areas of society where there is a labor shortage. Has COVID affected your industry that way?
Not so much, but it did show us, how much when you're forced to work at home, it could still be done.
Sure.
The wheels can still turn. Like I said, it is a relationship business more than a transactional business. So that's a little tough to do from home, and I struggled with that. Kerry can attest. I think he made a joke. He checked in on me to see if I'm all right, because I like to be out and about more than I like to be home.
He is very social. He's a very social animal. And Bill was stuck for during COVID, not be able to go out and do what he does, which is procure relationships. And but you made it through.
We made it through, and
Yeah.
for me, the government implication of the PPP loan, the Paycheck Protection Program, that was pretty much from dawn till dusk. We were working to help our clients.
Sure
We
you
have
were.
got to get the money in their hand as fast as they can to get through the rough time and survive.
How many branches do you have in the area?
Capital City has a total of 63 branches throughout Georgia and Florida. Our southernmost branch is in Hudson, Florida. So we're mainly, that kind of northern part of Florida and into Georgia up to Macon.
Let's have that phone number again where people can call you.
352-514-4605. I'd love to work with you in your business, and give me a call.
All right, website?
It's www.ccbg.com is our main website, which is Capital City Bank Group. So you can always find information there, or that'll get you to me in my office.
How are the Gators going to do next year in football?
Good question. So I think Emory Jones is going to be absolutely electric.
I think so, too.
I'm super excited to see him. I think the question mark lies in the defense. We were not where we needed to be last year.
Well, you're not
and
kidding there.
Hopefully, if they can turn that around, I think. But we'll find out real quick. That third game of the season against Alabama is going to be.
I'll tell you what, that loss to LSU still is mind blowing to me.
That was
out of all the losses that we've suffered, that one to LSU last year was one of the hardest ones that I think that we've had to endure for a long time, because I think our team would have possibly made the playoffs even if we would have lost to Alabama in a close matchup. But
so we got to bring this to a close.
Okay.
All right. I got the nod, and we could probably go on at least another hour or more with you, and we'll have you back.
I appreciate it.
We will have you back. You've been a terrific guest, Bill.
Thank you.
We really appreciate all the information. And we will be back in just a moment with Kristi Gaver from UF Health Shands Hospital, Director of Public Functions. You are watching Meldon Law and Friends, episode 37. We will be right back after this.
Thank you very much.
When you're a member of the Gator Nation, you know what it means to never back down. Meldon Law has been a proud supporter of the Gator Nation since 1971. Two forces that won't back down. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em.
Well, I was in a truck accident. Because of the accident, I've resulted in 3 back surgeries. We saw advertisements on TV, and guess who popped up more often than not? was Jeffrey. The communication that he provided was so appreciative. He shows his compassion as a human. He assisted us in achieving one of our dreams, the acquisition of a home. And we're here today with smiles on our face with the assistance from Jeffrey.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon because you're going to need help, and they will help you.
The Meldon Law Firm from the beginning has been built on giving back to the community. I enjoy coming to work as much today as I did in 1971 when I opened my practice. I don't look at this as a job, I look at it as serving other people. While we're alive, what better feeling can you achieve than knowing that you've helped other people and thereby you enrich your own life?
Being a client at Meldon Law was special because I felt like I was really being listened to and I felt welcome by the entire staff. If I were in a situation where I needed legal advice and help, I would absolutely reach out to Jeffrey because his reputation alone speaks for itself. But on a personal level, I know that he would take care of me and help me solve those problems, and I would feel safe with him.
The Gator Nation will be the first to tell you that in all kinds of weather, we all stick together, which is why Meldon Law is honored to be the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. We hope you never find yourself the victim of a serious accident, but if you do, our team is here for you. Gators won't back down from a fight, and neither do we.
Hello and welcome back to today's episode of Meldon Law and Friends, a weekly podcast brought to you by Meldon Law, a statewide law firm started by this young man's father, Jeffrey Meldon, back in the early 70s, 1971. It's pretty amazing. He got that 50-year certification from the Florida Bar just a couple of weeks ago. I know he's extraordinarily proud of that.
I was there. He was more proud of the fact that he looked younger than most of the other lawyers that had been lawyers for 50 years. So he was feeling pretty good about himself. But you know, Dad works out 3 times a week.
He does.
He eats healthy.
He does.
I remember we were on the Turnpike maybe about 2 or 3 months ago. I don't know. We were traveling down to see my sister, and we stopped, and there was nothing open besides Wendy's. And I got a burger, and he took a bite of it. He says, I haven't had fast food in 10 years.
Oh, I believe it.
He says, it's really good. I said, yeah, it's pretty good sometimes.
And every time I even mention to him, I go to a place that I consider reasonably healthy, like Wawa. He gives me a hard time about it. So
yeah. Well, he doesn't do lunch.
He doesn't.
He does lunch while he's working.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And he doesn't care, you know, what you're doing. He's going to do his lunch. But, you know, Jeffrey's always been a go-getter, just like our previous guest, Bill Bechtol.
And our current guest. Yeah. Kristi Gaver, how are you doing, Kristi?
Great, thank you for having me.
We're very, very happy to have you. I was going to bring this up later, but I heard there's a little bit of a connection between you and the last guest. I don't know. I mean, dating maybe? Any rumor you want to confirm on that?
There is. I think I can give public confirmation.
Okay.
That's actually how I met Carrie. So, you know, those two have been friends for a while. And
yes, they have.
Carrie was one of the first friends I met, and it's probably been one of my favorites.
Well, thank you,
tell
Kristi.
the rest of them.
That was very nice to say.
It's going to be online,
right.
And it's archived. So
perfect.
It's not going anywhere.
Permanent.
Yeah.
The internet is forever,
right.
And so is your admission. No, anyway, again, we want to remind everyone that we are live on Facebook Live. So if you have a question and you're watching us from your computer, your laptop, desk station, whatever it may be, workstation, type your question into the comments section and we'll answer it. Kristi is the Director of Public Functions at UF Health, Shands Hospital. So she's got a lot to say and a lot to share. And if you have any questions of her about what UF Health does for the community, this would be a great time to ask those questions. I do want to, though, before we do that, go real quickly back to the storm that's coming, Tropical Storm Elsa. It expected to get to very close to Category 1 hurricane strength by the time it hits the coast of Florida a little later tonight. It's right now, I think, around 60, 65 miles an hour. It is going to definitely impact where we're broadcasting from. Marion County, Alachua County, Sumter County, all the way up through Duval County. Governor DeSantis had a press conference about an hour ago. He talked about the fact that the way the storm is shaped, the right side of the swirl is going to impact a lot more than the left side, which means us. So we are going to get hit with a lot of rain. There are free sandbags available, and this afternoon is your last chance to take advantage of that. Alachua County has made available at Wayside Park. Wayside Park, which is located at 11855 Northwest US 441 in Gainesville. Until 5 o'clock this afternoon, they will be offering for free sandbags, a limit of 10 bags per person. We urge you that if you're in a high area that's prone to flooding, that you take advantage of that.
Absolutely.
So,
well said, Chris.
Anyway, check that out. I'll let you get right to it. So, Carrie, you had the pleasure of introducing Bill. Let's go ahead and do the same.
Well, I've had the pleasure of getting to know Kristi, and we've had a very, I think, interesting time getting to know each other, because one of the things that Kristi has introduced me more to is the Ocala community, where she grew up in, and we just opened our office in a couple weeks ago. So I'd like to kind of start off with your roots in Marion County.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I actually was born here in Gainesville. I was born at AGH. Lived here for about 2-ish years. My dad worked for, it's a water supply company. So at that time they were Davis Meter, and they've been a lot of different things since then. I think they're currently Core in Maine.
Okay.
So he was based up here, and he and my mom got married, had me, obviously, my younger sister, and then we moved to Ocala because most of his business was there. And so I went to South Ocala Elementary on the southeast side, not far from where your office is. Drove by it all the time, still do. I see Carrie's face coming down, 441 when I'm going
handing
into
the jerseys over and all that stuff.
That's right. My parents still live there, so went to Osceola Middle School, Forest High School, what Ocalans would call the Old Forest, because they built the new one out on Baseline Road. So
right.
Yeah, grew up there, going to Lake Weir, boating, doing stuff like that. I was in Mary Ellen's School of Dance, which was, an Ocala staple.
I've never heard of it, but this is good stuff.
So,
what did you dance? What kind of dance did you study?
Jazz, tap, and ballet, Carrie.
Jazz, tap, and
That's
ballet.
Right. That's right.
Oh, wow.
But, Ocala's it was always a fun town. It was always something that was kind of super family-oriented. It was easy. I think it's kind of the same thing here in Gainesville. It's awesome because you've got so many different opportunities for activities. Growing up.
Do you know where I went this weekend? Was the Ivy Restaurant.
Oh yeah,
that
perfect.
place is great.
So good.
Yes, Josh from our office recommended it too. I just have to throw that out there. That place was incredible.
Downtown Ocala has
5 stars.
Yeah, it's done great reviving itself. Downtown Ocala actually has some really cool places now. So they've got a lot of really neat spaces to kind of eat and drink. They've got some entertainment. Their live Friday night events are great. So there's some opportunity to get Meldon Law out there.
Yeah. Well, we have always been in Ocala,
right.
And I always remember going to Ocala. In fact, Ocala Forest was in our division when I was at GHS, so we'd always go in there and play tennis against Ocala Forest and Ocala Vanguard, and that was the 2 major schools that were large enough to compete against us. Now we demolished them pretty easily.
I was about to say,
in tennis.
Football, they probably it was the other way around, but tennis, you probably took care of business.
But I had a lot of a lot of fond memories of Ocala, and also back when I was a kid, Silver Springs and Wild Waters was the closest.
Wild Waters was where it was at.
It was the closest park to where we were. So. And Ocala Highlight. I remember when I was in college, I went to Ocala Highlight.
Yes,
so
I did too.
Those are some of the few memories. But there's
Soriano. That was the guy we always bet on. That just came to me. But anyway.
Okay. Well, I never gambled on Highlight, but
I didn't either.
I definitely checked it out a couple times. But anyways, we were happy to have a freestanding office there, and we hope that you bring your friends and your family down to
Absolutely.
Meldon Law and tell them that we're in Ocala now with our own freestanding
That's
business,
right.
and we're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah,
So
you've got
tell
it.
us about your job. Tell us about what you do at UF Shands.
So I've actually been there for 9 years now. So in my current role, I've been in for about a year. I am the Director of Public Functions. I oversee pretty much anything that is involved in UF Health forward-facing events. Some of those are external, some of those are internal, some of them are things like employee appreciation. The administration is really big on that. It's very important to them to make sure that, you know, the employees feel valued, they feel appreciated, you know, they feel like they're making them feel like they're a part of the team, because obviously working at a hospital, it's a little, you know, the teamwork and feeling like you're part of a team and feeling like you're really doing something is a little bit more difficult when you're not seeing yourself as involved in direct patient care.
When you say
So-
forward-facing, can you explain to the listeners what that means?
Sure. So some things like when UF Health gets involved in, like Bill, things for the American Heart Association. So my UF Health team actually fundraises more than Bill's Capital City team. So UF Health usually ends up winning.
Now he's sitting off to the side. I'm not sure he agrees, but we're going to side with you on
UF
this one.
Health
Yes,
is one of the top
absolutely.
fundraising teams for the Gainesville area in the American Heart Association. So
Okay.
it's one of those. So I kind of help oversee any sort of events that we do in support of UF Health Shands raising funds for the American Heart Association. So it could. I'm kind of I wear a lot of hats.
Well, let's start from the beginning. Okay, so UF Health is obviously affiliated with the University of Florida.
Correct.
Is it? And I'm assuming it's affiliated with Shands, correct?
It is. Well,
Okay.
so UF Health is actually an academic medical center. So what that means is we have access to, so our patients have access to research. They have
I see.
access to, we have quality patient care standards. We're making sure that, we're adhering with the most top of the line practices. We're trying to recruit the finest, we're trying to recruit the best doctors. We're trying to attract the best medical students. So we're kind of at a place where, and a lot of that has served us well. But so we're over, I think we have 1,100 beds in the hospital. So between three buildings, we can fit 1,100 patients within those buildings.
And these buildings are all located in Gainesville?
So we actually have, all of the inpatient are in Gainesville. We have outpatient facilities. We have a pretty newly established relationship with hospitals in the Villages and one in Leesburg, and there are also expanding practices. So we're kind of everywhere in Florida and trying to, like Meldon Law, trying to get our name out there too.
I love that. Kristi, how did you first start your relationship with UF Health? When did that begin?
So after school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
What was your degree in?
And it is liberal arts and sciences. So just kind of the general run of the mill. But I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and kind of fell on an opportunity to work with the UF Foundation in their events department. So I got involved with events and fundraising through there, and just, through, as people do, career transitions, went and found an opportunity at Shands, and a little bit made my own way, kind of found places for me to get myself involved in things that I was interested in doing.
Wow.
And things that could also serve the organization.
Such as any examples that you want to talk?
So I think one of my best career moments are things like our UF Health Shands milestone events. It's one where we recognize employee service anniversaries. So employees who have been there starting at 10 years of service get invited, and they attend with a guest, and we kind of put on a little dinner show for them and a program and acknowledge them. They have a chance to take photos with leadership, hang out, and so it's a really fun night. But it's one of those that people walk away and say, not many organizations do this for us, and an organization with 10,000 employees.
We've got
Yeah,
to take a
that's
break in
incredible.
just a moment. I think we at least get to half this question. We have a two-part question from Facebook Live. How do I get one of those Meldon Law cups? Well, if you're in Ocala, stop by our new office at 1326 South Pine Avenue across from the big Advent Hospital. And anything you want to add to?
Give us a call, ask for Josh Howard, say that you watched the Bill Bechtol, Kristi Gaver podcast, and we'll send you a free cup.
There you go.
Okay? All right.
We're going to take a break, our third and final break of today, and you are watching Meldon Law and Friends, a service of Meldon Law. We're so happy to have Kristi Gaver from UF Health, Shands Hospital, and we'll be right back after this.
When you're a member of the Gator Nation, you know what it means to never back down. Meldon Law has been a proud supporter of the Gator Nation since 1971. Two forces that won't back down. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. The Gator Nation will be the first to tell you that in all kinds of weather, we all stick together, which is why Meldon Law is honored to be the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. We hope you never find yourself the victim of a serious accident, but if you do, our team is here for you. Gators won't back down from a fight, and neither do we.
Hello and welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. Today is Tuesday, the 6th day of June, 2021. We hope you're watching us live, and if you're not, that's fine too. You can spread the word to your friends that all our episodes, including this one, are archived on the Meldon Law Facebook page and also on the Meldon Law YouTube page. And we do have a second part of a question we got just before the break. Isn't Dance Marathon and Children's Miracle Network the largest fundraiser in the area? I'll let you tackle that.
Sure. So Children's Miracle Network is a national organization, and they have designated hospitals that the funds raised goes to. And
Okay.
UF Health Shands Children's Hospital is one of those hospitals. So when people are fundraising for Children's Miracle Network, and they actually have quite an array of ways that you can contribute to CMN. Dance Marathon being one of them. It's a 24-hour, exactly what it says, dance marathon that's actually
So
put
you've had
on.
dance training, so I bet you're really good at this.
That's a good point,
So
Chris.
it's so that one has a big. So it's actually fraternities and sororities in the
Okay.
at the University of Florida that raise money for Children's Miracle Network. And even I'm sure everybody's been to Publix, and then when you're checking out, they ask you, do you want to donate $1 to
Round
Children's
up your
Miracle
change,
Network?
or, yeah.
Do you want to donate $2? Do you want to donate $3? All of that money that you're donating at your Gainesville Publix, at your Ocala Publix, at your Miami Publix, that's going to go towards the Children's Miracle Network hospital in your area. So if you're checking out at Publix and you buy that little $3 coupon donation, that's coming back to us. So that's coming back to Gainesville. And that's going to help the kids that are hospitalized here at our children's hospital.
Wonderful. Kristi, tell us a little bit more about UF Health and a little bit about how you guys are able to manage. I mean, there's a ton of employees.
Lots
there's
of
a
them.
ton of locations. Obviously, UF Health is one of the, I think, the preeminent institution in its sector. And we had an amazing guest last week, Dr.
Oh,
Oken,
wow, he sure was.
who works with UF Health.
Right.
And if the listeners out there haven't listened to that podcast yet, please do, because it was absolutely electric, his description of
I
how
actually
they're-
I sent a client, to Dr. Oken, who's dealing with essential tremors. So, it was a great informative podcast.
dealing with neurological issues. So, Kristi, how do you navigate? So, I mean, UF Health being such the Goliath it is.
Sure.
Tell us a basic day of Kristi Gaver.
Ooh, a basic day of me. So I deal with a lot of fundraising as well. So this could be internal fundraising. This could be hosting hosting donors for lunch. So if somebody, if we have a mission that we're trying to get funded, there's an arm called the Office of Development, and their job is strictly to go out and raise money to bring it back to the hospital. So if there are people that want to donate to the cause, then their job is to reach out to them, and their job is to kind of figure out how to loop them in and how to secure those funds. And then I'm the one that comes in and has, this is the great part of my job. So I don't have to ask people for money.
Right.
I just get to come in and say, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you for giving us the money.
And pay us
the missions
more.
The mission's already been complete by the time I get there. So, I'm the one that kind of comes in and says, here's what we can do.
We have a question. Oh, this is a funny one. You were talking earlier, Kristi, about how when growing up you'd go to Lake Weir, and there's a viral video that I understand is making its way across the internet involving our own head coach, Dan Mullen. Can you wake surf like Coach Dan Mullen?
I can't wake surf. I can wake board,
There you go.
which is a little bit different.
What's this all about anyway? I'm late to the party.
You haven't seen it?
What is this video all about?
So over the 4th of July weekend, I guess Dan Mullen was out on a boat, out on a lake, and there was a video that popped up. I saw it on Barstool Sports, but they went, and so you basically are surfing the wake behind a boat.
No
So
kidding.
he rides the wave just like you would a surfboard. You start out with a rope. He throws the rope back to the boat. So he's
standing.
He's standing, yeah. He's surfing.
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 So he's
Surfing
not holding
on the wave.
He's
On the
not
wave.
holding a rope.
No.
Man.
It was impressive.
Yeah,
Really
you can Google.
impressive.
People out there can Google it.
Google it, Dan Mullen, wake surfing.
Yeah.
But watch this first and then do it.
So Kristi, let me ask you, if you're not fundraising, you're often having to put together the events. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So how does that? How do you make that determination on how to put together an event?
So somebody kind of comes to you with a need, and you a lot of fundraising and a lot of giving is figuring out the why. I think that's all of our jobs. We have to figure out the why of the end game of what we're trying to get to. So somebody comes to me and says, we want to do this event because this department is celebrating its 30th anniversary. So you're saying, okay, why is this important to us as an institution? Why is this important to us as a community? Why is it important to, X, Y, and Z people? And then just, from a general, so you kind of develop your concept, and then that's where I hit the ground running, and I start saying, okay, what's going to be our wow factor here? Who are we going to invite? Who's the thing that everybody cares about? Who's going to cater the food? And what's it going to look like? What kind of cool elements are we going to have? So those are sort of my initial brainstorming processes, and it can be events for.
Well, speaking of, we'll have to plug Spurrier's Gridiron Grill because the head ball coach is a good friend of the Meldon Law family. We love them, and they're going to be opening soon.
Yeah.
So hopefully those listeners out there can go check it out. It's going to be an incredible
It's going to be
experience.
amazing. It'll be, I think, the premier destination.
August 11th.
What's
that's
that,
the day.
Freddie?
Yeah.
August 11th.
So,
our good buddy
sorry
Freddie
to
is
interrupt,
the burger.
but I wanted to plug Spurrier's Gridiron Grill because I think it's going to be an amazing addition for Gainesville. And just like UF Health is a cornerstone of Gainesville, we're hoping that we know that Spurrier's Gridiron Grill will be as well.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about just community service that UF Health does generally. I know there's so much more than just the patient care. You get out in the community health fairs. Tell us about it.
Sure. Actually, ufhealth.org is a great resource. They have a calendar of events, and so you can go on there if you're looking to learn more about cardiac disease, if you're learning to learn more about brain cancer. They actually host talks and community events that anybody can attend, and they're free. So you can go and listen to things on brain research, pretty much anything you could think about. There's somebody out there that's probably gonna be affiliated with
last
UF Health
week was
for
such a perfect example.
True.
I mean, just Dr. Oken. For anyone out there who has a family member, with Parkinson's or may think they have Parkinson's or any similar type neurological disorders, what a resource he is.
Absolutely. he's a mind like no one else, and a great speaker and super engaging, and his research is second to none. We also have a couple of kind of cool outreach.
Okay.
We have a mobile outreach clinic that actually serves underserved medical populations in kind of low-income neighborhoods. So it's a bus, and it drives around, and they'll park it.
And where can someone get information about where that's going to be?
So ufhealth.org, you can go in there to community support. There's a little link on there, and that'll actually tell you pretty much all of the free resources that you can get from UF Health.
How about with the whole COVID pandemic? I'm sure your hospital was impacted, obviously.
Absolutely.
Just maybe a few words about how you coped with that and where things are going in the future.
So, I mean, I think the biggest thing that UF Health took out of it was togetherness. It was a matter of collaborating with so many different teams. So there were teams that didn't really have to work together before. Exactly. So there were teams, that were doing things that maybe nurses had to do. You had people that transport patients were having to fully, gown up, and these processes that they had to learn about that probably would never know. Yeah. So I think people really just had to adjust and had to come together and had to support each other. I think I obviously I'm not a nurse, so I'm not a physician. I wasn't up there seeing the hard things that people were seeing, but I think it's important to recognize that many employees came together and made it through. And
so we do have another question on Facebook Live, and I think this is within your wheelhouse. What is your #1 tip for hosting events? What takes an event from good to wow?
From good to wow. So I think the best tip that I can give is know your audience.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that you're that you're playing to your people. So you want to think about what's something that Carrie is really going to care about that's attending an event that somebody else that may not have any similar interest to him. So you want to think about what's different, what's unique. You want to I'm big on trying to stay on top of trends and trying to seeing what's out there and figuring out what can I bring to the table that maybe
like
people
Jeffrey
haven't seen
Meldon.
before.
No, so Kristi throws great events, and in fact,
I bet she does.
like I said, it's been a special day for me because I've had my great friend Bill Bechtol and my great new friend Kristi together, and they're a wonderful combination because they both love to host. In fact, they had me over for dinner last week, and
that must have been an event.
It was
dinner. It was
well,
an
you wouldn't
event.
believe it, Chris. It was steak chimichurri cooked on a Blackstone, sliced, medium rare with. What was the side? Actually, the side was something I've never had before. Explain the side, Kristi.
So it's a Mexican street corn. So sometimes you see it full on the cob, and they do it up with cojita cheese and green onions and red peppers, but we did it just on the stove and kind of loose, and it makes a really awesome, pretty colorful salad.
I think you need to post this recipe.
No, it's incredible, Chris. And then I asked them to do the podcast, so they had to feed me dinner. Then they had to come out here and do the podcast. So I appreciate it. They're really good friends of mine. But in all reality, they both do amazing work for the community. Bill and Kristi are two of the upcoming leaders in Alachua County. And they are people that you're going to see. Kristi, by the way, is always in the boxes or in the club seats over in the football or baseball section. So if you're out there listening to this and you need if you want to host an event with UF Health, you got to go.
I'm going to go a step further.
Yeah,
we said earlier that Bill should run for mayor. I've changed my mind on this. I think you should.
You think I should? I think Carrie is over-promising on tickets.
Yeah.
Well, we're doing some ticket giveaways in the fall too.
Yes, we are.
So if I overpromise, I'll have to deliver.
That's right. Yeah. Check out the Meldon Law website. I haven't plugged that yet. We've only got a minute left. www.meldonlaw.com. We did all sorts of great giveaways. Your dad is the king of giveaways. We're going to be doing that again, starting not too far away. I mean, it's already, we're in the first week, almost end of the first week of July, end of August, early September. Really, just within a few weeks.
Yeah, 60 days left.
I know. So
football season starts.
Check out our website. There always will be information on the front homepage. Look at the top banner. You'll see info about giveaways coming up. We've got maybe 30, 40 seconds left. What can you tell young people? I'm going to ask the same question I asked Bill. Somebody who wants to do what you're doing, hosting events, being an event planner.
I think the best thing to do is use your resources.
Sure.
There's always something going on somewhere, and there's always somebody to talk to, and you never know who you're speaking to might lead to another door. So, I think, and what worked for me was really just figuring out what I was interested in and passionate about, and finding ways within my job that may not be my normal job description, but could kind of show that I can handle these things and show that I'm ready to take on more responsibility.
And congratulations, by the way. You're recently appointed full-time director of public functions at UF Health, which is a huge deal.
Well deserved, I can
and it's
obviously
very
say.
well deserved, yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
We got to wrap this up for episode 37. I want to remind you that free sandbags are available at Wayside Park until 5 p.m. in Alachua County at 11855 Northwest US 441. Hey, we're going to get hit. It may not be that bad, we don't know, but we're on the side where the rain is going to be very, very heavy. So if you're in a high area that's prone to flooding, absolutely, we urge you to take advantage of the free sandbags available by Alachua County. I should be a meteorologist because, they don't have to be perfect all the time. They can make mistakes. Anyway, anything in closing, Gary?
No, this is a great show today, Chris. Thanks for hosting. Kristi, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Take care. We'll see you next week with Meldon Law and Friends.